Have you ever felt the tightness in your chest when something feels urgent? A decision that needs to be made, an opportunity that just might disappear, a message that demands immediate response? Well, urgency has a tone of its own. It feels pressing, immediate, almost moral. Like if you don't act now, you're failing. But urgency and importance, they're not the same thing. And if we don't learn to discern the difference, we will live in reaction instead of alignment. Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and welcome to Pace. There is a such thing as true urgency, so don't get me wrong. True urgency is clear, time sensitive, it's necessary, and it does not manipulate though, and it doesn't panic. But there's also manufactured urgency. It's a little bit like this. You need to decide right now. If you don't take this, you'll miss your chance. Everyone else is moving. This is your moment. That feels emotional. It feels loud and kind of irritating, maybe picking a little bit. It feels immediate and rushed, not calm and clear. I've learned that urgency often sounds like fear, wearing a watch, and fear, when unexamined, can masquerade as wisdom. Let's talk about a biblical story, David in the cave. This is in 1 Samuel 24, and it's talking about David having the opportunity to kill Saul. Saul was the king who had been pursuing David for some time, so had David on the run. It looked aligned, it looked strategic, it looked like destiny unfolding. David's men even encouraged him, and so the story goes that David and his men were in a cave. They were seemingly hiding and kind of cornered. Well, King Saul went into that cave, but went into that cave alone, by himself. And so here's David's men in the background. Do it, David. He's right there. You can take him out. This is your chance. All those immediate, urgent things that we're told in the background when urgency arises. But David paused, because opportunity is not the same thing as assignment. Just because something advances you doesn't mean it aligns you. David understood something very powerful. Forcing a promise too early can fracture integrity. So he chose restraint over reaction. He chose to cut a very small corner of Saul's coat as a message, as a reminder. I am not like you. I am like me, David. And when the time is right, it will present itself and I'll be ready, and so will you. That wasn't weakness. That was discernment. I know there have been several seasons in my life where I said yes too quickly. Not because it was right, but because it was available. It was right in front of me. It seemed like the right thing to do. But I didn't stop and pause and check and become clear. I just advanced. And availability is not confirmation. Sometimes urgency isn't coming from the opportunity itself. It's coming from our own fear of missing out, or our fear of falling behind, or our fear of disappointing someone else. But fear is loud. Again, one of those picking things that irritate and agitate. And all you really want to do is just get it off your shoulders. But wisdom is steady. It's like a partner. Before responding to something that feels urgent, ask yourself, would I make this decision, this very decision, if I felt calm? What happens if I wait 24 hours? Is this aligned with my current season, with my current goals? Who benefits from my immediate reaction? Am I responding from clarity or from fear? You are allowed to pause, and you're definitely allowed to breathe. You're allowed to look for that clarity that we talk about so much. You're allowed to say, let me think about that. You're allowed boundaries. You're allowed to say, hey, I can help, but not like I used to. Urgency loses power when we breathe, when we pause, when we think, when we wait for the clarity. Last episode, we talked about trusting yourself again. For some of us, that meant choosing a direction at a crossroads. Maybe you said yes. Maybe you said no. Maybe you stayed, or maybe you left. Whatever you chose it from clarity. So now the question isn't whether you chose correctly. The question is whether you're allowing urgency to now disturb the very peace of that decision. Don't let it. If the direction you chose suddenly feels urgent or frantic, just pause. Urgency doesn't always mean you made the wrong choice. It may simply mean you're adjusting to the new terrain. You're adjusting to this new environment, this new situation, this unknown. You are in control of who you will be here in this environment, here in this new terrain, here in this unknown space. You have permission to pace yourself, especially because you now trust yourself again. Remember? Discernment is not delay. It truly is protection. And protecting your pace protects your future and everything in it. So, thank you so much for being here. Until next time.